let's get into it, man. I saw this one as well in terms of Diaz, right? We've kind of seen what the fans have said over the course of the season. We've said some stuff as well in terms of is he the right man for Liverpool on that left-hand side? Some of us have kind of preferred Gakpo at times over there. But obviously Fabrizio is saying that at the moment there's no real conversation in terms of a contract being offered or an extension. The problem we have in that one, and I kind of stuck by this. I'm like, if he's not the guy, who is the guy then? Who is out there that will come in and do more? Because it can't be someone that's going to come in and do less, because you, at the moment, I think most of the fan base is he's not doing enough, right? So who is out there that can come in and do more? I find it difficult to try and find someone I think that could come in and hit the ground running. I have my preference of who I'd bring in, and that's if we lose him. But I don't know. Guys, what do you guys think, man? Because I know it's like, yeah, there's someone else that's out there we could go and get. But actually, could they actually come in and do more and score more, maybe assist more or create more? I don't know.
It's funny because I'm doing a video later once I come back from the shop to sort out my camera. Yeah, I said, oh, let me do a video looking at like the winger targets, right, for Liverpool. And you're right, like what you just said there, bro. Like, as in, I'm trying to think, okay, let me pick like 5. Usually I go with like, oh, let's go 5 targets, right? Just 5 players that you wouldn't mind joining the football club. And to be honest, it's a difficult one because I don't know in terms of what angle are the club trying to go in, i.e., are you going, obviously you're not going to, but as an example, are you doing the Chelsea route, which is I'm going to get some of the best, and they have, to be fair, some of the best young players in world football, the Kendry Paez, Estavio, Quenda, like those are like some of the best, attacking players, young players anyway, in football right now. Are you going to go that route, or are you going to try and get a Pedro Neto, them type of, like that type of level play? I don't really know with Liverpool because we're not a club who spends money like that. And I don't know how much we've got to spend in that area alone to then spend in other areas as well that we're all saying that we need to improve upon. So Liverpool's such a weird club. Like, honestly, we could easily get as an example, just like a wild example, you could easily get a Elise, or you could have easily have gotten like someone who we just don't really know, Tyler Diblin, as an example, not the price, just the player profile kind of thing. So yeah, with Liverpool, honestly, I really, really don't know which way we're heading, and I think it's going to be more determined if, for example, Luis Diaz leaves, how much money we get for him. I don't know what the percentage that we will put back into the transfer market, see what the options are, see who's available, and then we take it from there. And I think that's just the way that we've been, and I feel like that's the way that we're going to go. So maybe be on the lookout for players who you can see there's an opportunity in getting this guy for such an easy deal, for Liverpool.
What about you then, Sab? Because I don't think I've ever even heard you even diss him at all, bro. It's just we just always listen to what fan base say.
Yeah, it's my favorite. It's my favorite Liverpool player. I like Diaz, man. I think there's valid points to Diaz can offer more, but to be fair, with Diaz offering more, it always comes down to output, isn't it? There's nothing else he needs to offer more. It's just the output. But as I said to you before, I think that comes from from when we watch, because sometimes it's frustrating, but a lot of it comes from the comparison of Salah on the other side.
Yeah,
when you compare him against the other wingers, his numbers are very normal in comparison to like wingers in the same league as him. They're either either higher or just a little bit less. Like usually when there's a chart at the end of the season, he's in around that chart, like that top 5 and stuff like that. Because a lot of the frustration we've had this season is funny because we had the same frustrations last season. Well, Liverpool fans did towards the end. It was that fact that no one could score their goals. They couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. So it's exactly the same. So I'm kind of with G on this. I feel like Liverpool's definitely not going to splash cash on some left winger. Like there was that link to Gordon prior, and obviously he's a bit versatile in the fact that he can play through the middle and play on the left, which is what Diaz can do too. But again, he plays completely different to Diaz, so it might look like he offers more. I think he offers stuff in his own right, but if it's numbers wise and stuff like that, it's almost, he had a good season last season, but they're not far off. It won't be anything drastic. So then it's like, what are you paying for? 2 extra assists and 3 goals or something, like, because that can't be. So then I'm with G's likely to be some opportunists. What they'll either keep Diaz, or if an opportunity arises, they'll strike there and then bring him in. Because for me, like, Diaz must be one of them comfy ones for Liverpool, where it's like, we don't pay you that much anyway, and you're of a certain age anyway, so we will happily keep you and see what the manager's saying. But if you want to go, also, we can happily get rid of you and still get money for you, bro. I don't know what did we pay for Diaz, like 40 million or something.
Yeah, nothing really mad.
So I think you can probably get more back. But even breaking even's fine, because you've got your money's worth out of him, and he's played for us on it, and he's done stuff for the club. He would have contributed to a Premier League. He would have contributed to a couple of cups prior as well. But I think you get like 50 mil for him, and then you make 10 mil on it. But I don't know. It's what G said. A lot of it's based on what you reckon Slot wants to do going forward. I think if he has the option, I don't think he'll go for experience in a winger. He'll probably just go for fast, young, energetic wingers. Energy seems to be a thing in the squad. So if that's the case, then I hear it, bro. But we'll see what the manager does, and if we back the manager and trust in what he can do, then whoever he picks will be valid in it. But you already know my views on the left wing, and I would have Diaz still. But if he leaves, I would just run Rio and Gakpo, to be honest.
Just give him a chance. And I've got a poll in the chat as well in terms of scenarios. You guys can have a little vote on it as well. And one of them is to give Rio a chance. 29% so far saying, yeah, give him an opportunity to see what he can do. That would be interesting. But in terms of like comparison, you mentioned Gordon. I've seen Red Armchair as well mention Gordon. Seen Tony in the chat saying we haven't really replaced Mane. But I looked at the stats in terms of, what the players are offering. So I put Gordon in there. I put my preference in terms of Semenyo in there, and I put Cody Gakpo just to kind of look across of what they've been doing this season in the Premier League, because we don't really need. I don't think we're buying a winger to play. Not necessarily look at, oh yeah, you're going to be playing in the Champions League. More what we need for you to do in the league, because Diaz isn't doing what some fans are saying he needs to do in terms of goal contribution. If I look at it total, is the best option to look at it per 90, or is it just on the overall? Would you guys
per
say?
90.
Per 90. To see what that looks like. So I've got obviously our two boys. I've got Gakpo and I've got Diaz. I put Gordon in there because he's the one that we were heavily linked with. And I think a lot of Liverpool fans want this guy as well, from what I've seen. And then obviously Semenyo is my personal choice. Just looking at the stats, I don't know. Can you guys see it? Is it clear, guys, in the chat? Let me know if it's clear enough for you guys to see as well. I want to make sure you guys can see it. But in terms of games played, they've pretty much played similar games, 28 to 26. All right, which is fine. And then you look at one of the things I wanted to look at was like shots on target, because one of the things is we always go like Diaz don't really hit the target because he's always like missing, or he's taking too long, or he tries to run across and then the opportunity goes. He's not really shooting it. But if you compare him to him versus Gordon versus Gakpo versus Semenyo, he's the second highest. Semenyon's obviously the highest at 1.3, but he's at 1.2. So that's kind of in terms of on target. Off target, I think it's relatively balanced. Him and Gordon are in the same, but off target, Semenyo and Gakpo. So Gakpo's more off target than he is, which is crazy. Goals wise, Diaz is obviously leading that as well. Gordon's only got, I think it was 6 goals so far in the Prem. Obviously Gakpo, I think, got one more. I want to say he's got one more goal. And then I look at like the conversion rate, because that's partly shots on target. How are you converting the opportunities we create as a club? And Diaz is out in front over Gordon, over Semenyo, and over Gakpo as well. Not massively over Gakpo, but he's still, converting more of his opportunities more than Gakpo is. So we're looking at that for just at the start, G. What do you make of that, bro? Because I'm looking at it going, yo, he's hitting shots more on target, scored more goals, and his conversion rate is higher.
The thing is, the conversion thing I can kind of understand when I look at it, because it kind of goes in a bit of an order. Like obviously Gakpo and Diaz there. I mean, Diaz is just about ahead, but I don't know how many shots he takes in comparison to like a Gakpo, for example, right? But the fact that it goes Liverpool, Newcastle, then Bournemouth, that would make sense because of the players that we're talking about. Gordon, would have a higher conversion rate than a Semenyo anyway, because I feel like he would get more opportunities to get in and around, you know what I mean, the box, whereas I don't feel like Semenyo gets those same opportunities. So his conversion probably would just be low just by default anyway, in terms of if you're not going to really be getting in there as much and you're not really, and from where you're taking your shots, I guess these are all little things that they put into this conversion kind of thing. But the rest, honestly, the stats don't really say